Well, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Sessions with myself, Seamus, and my co-host Keith, a Dubliner's Guide to Cinema. Keith, how have you been since the accident?
Yeah, I've been good, yeah. Not too bad.
It was a finger you got caught in the door or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Good to be back, though, guys. We're talking about the drama Sense and Sensibility from 1996. Sorry. As you can maybe tell from my co-host and his slightly unusual appearance, we're talking about
The Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors. When I told someone we were doing this episode, he said the best one, which I'm not going to disagree with, at least not now.
Just yet.
Yeah. And
I felt something when you said that, and it just...
You have something of a slight connection to the film, Keith, would you say? Would this be like something that you're not really into the whole horror thing? Let's call a spade a spade.
It's not for me, really. Dressing up and stuff, like, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not really for me. But like I said, the original Nightmare on Elm Street, I saw it at the exact correct time someone should see it. So I was very young. I was 11 or 12, and it frightened the bejesus out of me. Mm-hmm. And similar to Michael Myers and Halloween, that just created a love affair for this particular franchise.
I'd have a similar experience. I saw it at around the same age, and it did scare the shit out of me. I remember being really disturbed by Johnny Depp's death scene.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I can still kind of explain it. When I was younger, now characters seemed a lot more real to me in films, and he seemed like a real cool, kind of like a guy you liked. And the fact that he was just completely decimated and turned into, like, he didn't even have a body left. Like, he just turned into piles of fucking blood.
Did you ever notice the thing in that scene where he's hanging and it's almost like he's in a bag, like? Mm-hmm. Did you ever see it, like? Because I still never fully understood that death or what was actually happening.
It just really disturbed me, like the fact that, like, and now it just seems, I think actually it seems a little cheesy when I watch it now, but there's a line with one of the cops where he's like, oh, there's not even a body, or he says something like that. Really creeped me out, because I was like, because again, he seemed like a real guy at that age. Like, now I would watch and I'd be like, oh, it's a good effect, or this or that, but with that age, when you watch it, and so that was the first one, though, Wes Craven's original. We're talking about the third one, which, for the uninitiated, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, is a supernatural horror film from 1987, directed by Chuck Russell and co-written by Wes Craven, Russell himself, Frank Darabont, and Bruce Wagner. Starring Heather Langenkamp, Robert Englund, Craig Wasson, Patricia Arquette in her film debut, and Lawrence Fishburne. I believe he's credited as Larry. The story follows the last surviving children of Freddy Krueger's original victims as they band together in a psychiatric hospital. With the help of a former victim of Krueger's, that's Langenkamp's character, they learn to harness powers within their dreams to fight Freddy. The film has a 6.7 rating on IMDb with a Metacritic critic score of 49% and a user score of 7.4. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a critic score of 67% and an audience score of 68%. It grossed about $44.8 million worldwide against a budget of $4.5 million, revitalizing the franchise and cementing Freddy Krueger as a pop culture icon of the 1980s. On a personal note, folks, I used to have dreams. Film business is a real tough racket. Glug. Moving on. So, Keith, in my little spiel there, I mentioned this revitalized the franchise. So, just so everyone, the first film is still a huge cultural touchstone. Like, the character is a huge cultural. The first film is still very well regarded. The second one was seen as a bit of a misstep in terms of its box office, and at the time of its kind of staying within the framework of what was expected from the series. Now, you said it was one that you haven't seen that much. It's famously the, quote, gay one, Freddy, unquote. So, I'll get your thoughts on it, because I have a few thoughts on it.
Obviously, as I was saying a second ago, the first one was a real, come to Jesus moment for me in terms of horror, because I went, okay, I'm into this. Do you know what I mean? And the second one, of all of them, it's probably the one I've seen it once. So even a lot of I don't remember it greatly. Do you know what I mean? And then this one, next to the first one, is my favourite one.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because I just think, look, we'll get into it, but like, there's great ideas going on in this. Whether they're always executed well or not is a different thing. But I think for what it is, it's certainly, because it's not a return to the original, because they certainly lean into the funnier side of things, and he's definitely at his most camp probably as well, Freddy. But he has some of his best one-liners from the whole franchise in this. It's
yeah, he didn't tip over into parody. Now, just a quick word on the second one, because I don't think we're ever going to circle back around and do it again. I would say, I don't know, I haven't seen it enough to say as a film from beginning to end how good it is. But I remember when I first saw the second one, excuse me. I found a lot of the ideas in it very powerful in a way that I couldn't quite express. So like the opening scene is the main character. And so a lot of the gay subtext from the film it's in there, first of all. But then also the main actor, whose name escapes me, he is gay in his personal life. And he apparently was playing it like a guy who's conflicted about it, or like is unsure of his sexuality. But the opening scene is him on a school bus. And the way his makeup and the way he carries himself and everything, he just looks like this sunken, frightened mess in the corner of the school bus. And there's two girls on the other side kind of giggling at him. And that image just burned in my brain, and I felt it very strongly because
that's
I was
where
in.
They end up, and it's kind of sitting on top of the school bus. Ends up sitting on top of
because Krueger's driving the bus and all this, and it just really, as I've like 10 friends watching this, going, her, he's coming out. I'm not, but like it just spoke to me as someone who felt very uncomfortable in their skin as a teenager, and it just was a very like it's a bit OTT, but that's what kind of gives it its power, and that's when I think of the second one, I think of powerful ideas like that, and it's tied into, it's kind of given a vehicle through the kind of gay angle and all this. There's some great stuff in it. Again, I haven't seen it often enough to say how it hangs together as a film, but I quite like the second one actually.
I actually think I might circle back and have a look at it myself now, because as I said, like I've seen the first one God knows how many times. I've seen the third one even more than I've seen the first one. Yeah. And it's just not one that ever really...
Yeah, it is. I don't know that it's a very entertaining film, but it has some kind of powerful ideas in it, I think would be how I'd say it. But again, I'd have to kind of rewatch it to be sure. But we may as well get cracking on this film now. It stars... I do not like this film as much as you do. Spoiler alert there. I find some of it comes in with, when I watched it, I was like, okay, so... It's Patricia Arquette, not Rosanna Arquette. I knew you said Rosanna Arquette. I remember she's like the main character, but she's not. She just kind of starts the film and she's at the end of the film, but she's not actually the main character. And I think the film is hurt by for me, how weak the characters are. And I don't mean weak as in they're powerless. I mean, they're not done very well. And there is like a lack of focus, I find, to who your main character is.
100%. And I'd actually echo your thoughts on that, because once she actually goes to the hospital, it's kind of diluted down into a group.
Yes.
Rather than, and then obviously then they shoehorn Nancy in.
Yeah, I was watching it last night, and Arquette kind of disappears for like nearly a half hour or something. And
because what they do is they're trying to introduce all the other kids as well, like, do you know what I mean? So they don't give it enough time. Now, as an opening to a horror film, like I think it's partly why I enjoy the film so much, is because you could kind of argue now that it's kind of stock Freddy Krueger and all, but there's some cool stuff in it. The fact that she's painting the house, and there's some very interesting, this would be all like Chuck Russell kind of decisions. Some of the fate, like where I believe this is actually after this, but the way she walks out of the door and the door closed behind her, and then she's in the house and stuff like that. That's all really interesting stuff. Like,
yeah, I think what always separated it out from like your Halloweens and your Friday the 13th is how visually imaginative these films are, whereas those tend to be like people being chased.
I don't care. A group of children singing 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you will always freak me out.
Yeah, there was always more room for them to be more imaginative and, just playing with your dreams, your subconscious. And they're never... You could maybe argue that, they could be X, Y, or Z more imaginative, or, they could have spent more money on them, but they don't fall into what I'll call the Christopher Nolan trap, which is in Inception, which is, I'm like, sure, this is supposed to be a fucking dream. Like, why isn't absolute mad shit happening? This is Inception now. And I know how much people love that film, but my issue with it is I'm like, these are supposed to be dreams. Like, you could be doing anything you want, and they're like people on. It's like a James Bond film. People with machine guns and fucking them motorbikes that you ride on, the snowmobiles. And I'm like, this is it. Like, this is your fucking crazy dream. There's like 10 people now going, what about this thing? Yeah, there's like 3 bits where like a train's driving down the street, but I'm like, it could have been. The Matrix is more dreamlike than Inception. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy shit.
See, because that's one thing. Like, because I mean, I don't think they do enough in A Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors, to really, it's very A, B, right, we have to get rid of these 2 so we can isolate these 3. And it doesn't matter, their powers mean nothing whatsoever, like, do you know what I mean?
Like, when you'd remember it, you might go, oh yeah, that's the one where they use dream powers, but they don't really go into it much. The wizard kid, who's very annoying, he's the one who actually has the most of it. The rest of them are... not really much is made of it,
but it's not really a power. Like, you see Taryn, and she's in my dreams I'm beautiful, I'm bad. Like, do you know what I mean? And again, you're very bad at delivering that line. Like,
anyone who's familiar with these podcasts will anticipate what I'm going to say. In her defense, she's very good looking. And she is actually quite a good. She's did you see that thing? It's called Never Sleep Again, where it's like a 4-hour long documentary about the making of all the films. And they do actually reference that line in it, as in like, oh, the poor woman having to say this. But she says people come up to her and say, I got off of drugs because of that character. And I was like, well, some people are very easily influenced, I don't know. But like, fair play, you know, that's a better day's work than I've ever done. But it starts off, I do actually like some of the stuff. So it starts off with Patricia Arquette, and her mother is this kind of like drunken fancy woman who brings like men home. Yeah, I kind of picture like a Robert Wagner type or downstairs or who's that fucking actor, like Josh Brolin's dad, what's his name? I kind of picture someone like him downstairs like, where's the bourbon, honey? So I found that's actually stuff I still find myself connecting to. Now my home life was nothing like that, but I kind of like that.
It's and the whole dream thing is because obviously it's a nightmare. Now this is where obviously people have criticisms of A Nightmare on Elm Street, because obviously Freddy's in control of the dream. So surely Freddy knows she's going to get out of the stodgy floor that she's on. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I suppose he it's never mentioned throughout any of them, but I suppose he doesn't have complete control over the dream. Yeah,
it'd be tricky to set up exact rules for that kind of thing, I suppose. Yeah.
Because obviously, like, she escapes and she apparently wakes back up.
Yeah.
Now, for when I saw this at the age I was, so it would have been 11 or 12 seeing the first one. And I'm pretty sure I skipped the second one, and this was on Sky 1. And I watched it. There was specifically the scene that we'll get to about, don't you like my body, Joey? And I remember as a 13-year-old going, I do like your body.
Hello.
But this always freaked me out. There's something about razors on wrists and needles in arms.
That's quite effective, yeah.
Because obviously the goal, which we come to learn soon after this, it appears that Freddy wants to round up the last of the Elm Street kids into one place.
Yeah, it's like revenge.
Yeah, so he can start killing the final ones. Like, and there's a scene where his hands, pretty good. One thing I will say, the effects in this are, for the time, 1987, I think it was. And for the time, they are really good and really effective.
Yeah, very imaginative. Like, the sink, the kind of taps on the sink turn into his hands. And that's very effective, where like in her dream, it's the tap like slicing her wrist, but in real life, she's taking a razor blade, and that's very, very good.
Yeah. And then she obviously turns around, and I hate that shot, because she's turning around and she starts leaking. And then, to be fair, a quite believable feint. Yeah. Because I don't go, oh, well, she's not, do you know what I mean?
Well, she does kind of go like, woo, like this. Yeah. It was a little
melodramatic, maybe.
Which I suppose is what you want from this.
Exactly,
kind of thing,
And then, so obviously then we are introduced to the Larry Fishburne and the doctor.
Yeah, Craig Wasson, who the Red Letter Media guys did a review of this, and they kept calling him, I think, not Bill Maher. And he is just, he's the lead actor in one of these Brian De Palma films, who everyone will know I'm not the world's biggest fan of, called Body Double, and he's like, that's his real. He was like the main actor, and it was a fairly big release at the time. He is not massively charismatic, I would say, and he doesn't carry the film. He's okay, I suppose.
He's functional, but he has too big. No disrespect to him. but I don't think he's a strong enough actor to be given as much as he's meant to have to do in this film.
He is more of an actor that you need someone more
I get
of a
the
star,
feeling. See, the funny thing is, the other female doctor, the older woman, who's meant to be the big bad, and you know what I mean? Yeah. She's a much better actress than he is an actor.
Yeah. So and she has a stronger point of view as well, whereas he's just more like, hey, I care. Well, what does that mean?
Don't really buy it. Now, I have to say, credited as Larry Fishburne. You put Lawrence Fishburne in anything, I'm watching it. I think he is the coolest.
Yeah, he is. There's something, because his character is essentially nothing. Like, he's just kind of the friendly, orderly.
But he brings a bit. I mean, I don't want. I'm struggling to say, but he brings a bit of joy to it. Like, do you know what I mean? Well,
he brings personality to it, because he's a movie star.
Even in the opening, in the scene where we meet him and Craig Watson's character, he basically, see about what's happening to all these kids. It's because their parents were dropping acid in the 60s.
Yeah.
And how he delivers the line and all.
He has a point of view. You get a bit of personality. And you get that he actually, he's been thinking about this. Do you know what I mean? Because what it turns out to be, he's basically just a fucking security guard for the, when the kids freak out. Yeah, he's not very effective, because a few of them die on his watch as well. But I will leave that aside. So it's mentioned that there's this hotshot new psychiatrist coming in or whatever,
doing fantastic work on pattern nightmares.
Yeah. So we'll see. So, but we're introduced because Patricia Arquette's there, and she's like freaking out, and she doesn't want to, I think they want to give her something that'll make her fall asleep. Yeah. And
then the nurse says she was fine until we tried to sedate her.
Yeah, and I think she starts saying the nursery rhyme. And then,
but you know what? This really annoys me. Because she starts at 5, 6 instead of 1, 2, and that pisses me off. Maybe it's because we spoke in the Terrifier episode of things being too protracted and too long. So maybe that was a choice from Chuck Russell to go, do you know what? We just have to show it.
I will actually say, as much as that film it being drawn out, this film does not draw things out long enough, but we'll get into that. So then Heather Langenkamp shows up.
Nancy and finishes the nursery rhyme.
And that kind of calms her down and all this. Now, I will say it straight off the bat, and I think they mentioned this in the Red Letter Media thing. Heather Langenkamp, I'm sorry, is not a particularly good actress. And she was certainly... I know it's the same character as the first one, and I don't know that she was bad in the first one, but... And I know it's weird to say because it's the same character. She is miscast in this film as someone who's supposed to be like some kind of an authority figure to these. I know,
because she looks kids. The same age as them.
She does, and she's just not very good.
There's a lot of stuff that I suppose we can get right into, because obviously then it cuts to Craig Watson's character and Nancy having a conversation. Yeah, which again I'll tell you why at the end of it why it does annoy me a bit, this scene, but. The way she's either just being allowed to play it, or the way she was told to play it. She's very smiley, and it's not. Yeah, she knows the stakes here. She knows what's happening. Do you know what I mean? And you kind of get the feeling like, do you know what I mean? Because she's smiling a lot. Like even that line that she says, "Oh well, I do have some experience with pattern nightmares." She has a big smile on her face. Like your whole fucking mates were massacred a couple of years ago. Like,
I get the feeling like Chuck Russell, who's done some movies I really like. He did The Mask. For whatever reason, I really like Eraser. I really like Eraser. He does strike me as someone who's like, stand over there and say the lines. He doesn't strike me as someone who'll finesse a performance out of you. And I think there was something on that documentary there
should be something said, pointed out, because Chuck Russell, obviously you mentioned The Mask. The Mask was originally to be a horror film, and
that's right,
he completely changed it, because he went, we've already got Freddy Krueger, so he puts on the mask and turns into this murderous kind of thing, but he completely changed it, and working closely with Jim Carrey into what it is, and it's a classic comedy, like he
had good instincts on that. His career seems to petered out a bit for whatever reason, although I don't think he ever had any huge massive flop around. I'd have to go back and check, but yeah, she's quite weak, and Watson is fine, but he's not given much to do either, to be fair.
That's why it kind of annoys me here, this scene, is because you've got two essentially main characters, and neither of them have enough gravitas to carry the scene or to elevate it in any way.
Yeah, well, you never get the feeling that like they should have played up more. Like she sees what's going on and she's being evasive, or she's driven, or he's got this point of view.
Or because he's not suspect or anything of her yet. Now I know there is the part where she drops her bag and then the hypnosil.
Yeah, which is a bit cheesy, but you have to have him see that. It is a stock moment though. But
Now, here is one of the more, I don't know what your opinion on it is, but so they go. Now, this kind of annoys me a bit as well. Here's what I meant. She goes, oh, well, I better get going. And it's clearly evening time. Yeah. So you get the feeling like she's going home, right? And then, obviously, Craig Watson's character is introduced to Sister Mary Helena, a distant figure. And he kind of sees her. And then you kind of know, and then the music is obviously telling you, okay, she's important.
Yeah, and I think, isn't Heather Langenkamp or Nancy goes off and she's being shown around by Now this is the start of, I think, the film's biggest problem. I think the film would actually just be genuinely, like, for me it would still be amazing. It would actually be really, really good, but they really fumbled the kids' characters because she's introduced to them like kind of bit by bit, and I'm like, shouldn't this have been like a 7 or 8 minute long group therapy scene where we get a feel, because she's introduced to the kid who gets killed because he's like been puppeted. Yeah.
That's a nice scene because she's commenting on his puppets and stuff. Like,
like the scene itself is okay, but then like the other kids seem to be just as important, and some of them are introduced as like, oh, this is so and so, like with a throwaway thing, and I'm like, why are these guys? It didn't seem to be planned out, like. How? Because I know they always say like, oh, it's so obvious who's going to be the guy and who's not going to be the guy. But I'm like, well, you need to be introduced to these people in a better way.
Even like there's a funny aside between Larry Fishburne and the guy who's playing Kincaid. Like, it's like you're not going to see much of him because he's always in the break or the
what do they call it, the quiet room or timeout room or something. Yeah.
And he goes, I do it so I don't have to look at your fucking ugly face. Like, it's a nice. Like,
he has a bit. Yeah, they give those guys a bit of personality. And then there's the kid who can't speak, and he sees the nurse. And how the sleazy the orderly is, like, I'll walk you over. And they never do anything with that character.
No, they don't. But he pops up a couple of times. But it's just to say, I'm a prick.
Yeah, this guy's a prick. Yeah. And so there's a quiet kid, and then soon after that, they do have a group therapy thing, and there's just like, oh, this is so and so, he can't walk. I want to be an actress. I'm like, who are these fucking people? If they'd have said, like, she just says, I want to be an actress. I was like, do you not have a scene where she's doing something that shows us that? Because she's a very famous kill. We may as well jump around, like, welcome to prime time or whatever. And like, would have been nicer if we got more of a sense of what she wanted to be, or, you know, you even see her prettying herself up in the mirror or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I want to be an actress. He is crippled in a wheelchair because of something. And who are the rest of them? There's the girl on drugs, and she's just introduced of, again, just she's
introduced before Nancy shows up, because Craig Wasson goes, oh, have you been getting some sleep?
Yeah.
And she's just... Yeah, and then turns away and walks away. Like.
I keep thinking of, there's that Piranha remake that they did like fucking 15 years ago or something, and I can't ever remember the guy's fucking name. He's in that show Severance.
Adam Scott.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah. And Jesus, who's the fuck? It's him and a fairly well-known actress, and he's like the cop and she's like some scientist. And, you know, it's about piranhas eating people. And they go, okay, we need to go and check out this area. And they get in a boat. And I was like, right, there's going to be a scene of the two of them on a boat having a chat. And we get to know them. And the next time we see them, they're pulling up to the scene. And there's never any character development. And I'm like, this is what they did in good 80s movies.
Yeah.
That this film is trying to ape, is they had scenes where you got to know the characters and then shit happened to them. And this film, as much as it's an 80s film, doesn't do that well enough. And that's why it falls down for me.
Yeah. Because, like, obviously, I think we move on then swiftly to the first kind of set piece kill.
Yeah, this is the puppet.
Yeah.
When is it? That is good. The way the guy acts it as well.
Yeah, it's a good performance, for the one, for a better way to put it. And it is, again, some very good special effects, because the puppet that was mentioned previously, Freddy embodies it and morphs into it.
Yeah, I think, in case anyone's a little fuzzy on it, Freddy in his dream he pulls out like muscles or his veins or something, and he pulls them up as if they're strings out of his arms and legs, and is kind of puppeteering him through the hospital. And he's known as a sleepwalker, so that no one thinks nothing of it.
Here's where I personally have an issue: the way he just morphs through the door. Like, that's very annoying. And there's a couple of things like that'll pop up as we go on.
Yeah, they seem to just make up what he can do,
because you get
piecemeal.
Yeah, you can get, okay, he's sleepwalking, and and it's a cool idea that Freddy's controlling him, but the fact that he in real physical world is able, so Freddy has control over physics in the real world as well.
Yeah, then it does become like, well, why would he ever be defeated? Although
exactly.
I do like how, what's the other guy's name? The kid he's in the room with. He's like, hey, wake up. And he goes, enjoy. He says something like, enjoy your walk, asshole. It's like, what the fuck did the guy ever do to you? Like,
because that's just him. He's just going, you silly asshole.
Yeah, that is, he actually, his character isn't really strong enough, but like it is defined. Like he is kind of a gruff kind of like.
But like you said, Chuck Russell isn't really gonna sit down and try and get a performance out of something.
No.
So the Kincaid character and the Larry Fishbone, that's them bringing what they want.
Exactly,
to it,
yeah. And I think that's why some of the other guys feel a little kind of at sea. So he goes up to the top of it's like whatever this hospital is, like a bell tower, and he's up there for ages.
Yeah, because what happens is the guy in the wheelchair and Joey, the silent guy, they take sleep shifts.
Yeah.
So Joey notices that he's up there and he goes and causes a commotion and wakes everybody up.
Yeah, and they all just end up and like it's fairly effective. Like you know, like they're all hey, wake up, and then I could have done without the massive Freddy kind of above him. Yeah, like the literal puppet man, like him cutting the strings. I'm fine with, but they do a thing where he's massive, which is a cool image. Like, but I was like, what is this?
Is this dream of real?
It kind of seemed, and not in a way. It just made me see this is supposed to be the real world, and it seemed a bit weird. But like again, it's a strong image, so fair enough. So the guy falls down, and everyone's mad upset. And then
we cut to a group therapy session.
Now,
times have changed.
Yeah, the fucking Craig Wasson character says
he's a weak man.
He killed himself. He was weak, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Like that would not fly in 2025.
Oh my god, in heaven! Well, they never set it up like a tough love thing, or like, well, I need to say this.
But it's just the opinions of
like
this is a doctor that's trying to help suicidal kids, and
it's
he's
horrendous.
basically telling them you are weak.
Yeah, it was borderline like offensive. But I kind of just laughed at it because it was so out there. But I was like, Jesus.
Every
Christ.
time, like at the time when I originally saw it, I wouldn't have thought much of it. But as I got a bit older and a bit more life, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, like the poor fucking kid.
How out of touch he did a weak thing. That's an empty thing.
I know,
It's madness.
Yeah. And I think, like this is I think where Langenkamp kind of starts pushing back against the nurse. Like she's like, I forget, but the nurse said something, and she's like, "Oh, we're gonna like very reasonable procedures," and I'm like, "Why would we do that?" Or something like that. And I'm like, "All right, what?"
Because it should be said. It should be said because obviously in the previous scenes, Craig Wasson has found the hypnosil and he's researched it.
He has like a floppy disk with all the fucking
old school with all the information on it.
Where that's supposed to be coming from is kind of a nebulous.
So he knows all about hypnosil now.
Yeah, it's a dream suppressant. Yeah.
It doesn't pop back up again until Freddy versus Jason. But,
did it? Yeah. Well, I think after the group therapy thing where no one seems to get any better as far as I can see.
And Kincaid gets locked in the...
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
He's very funny. The fuck you will.
Yeah. He has like a bit of a showdown with that doctor, and he's like, "I'm gonna subscribe them hypnosil until we know what's going on." And she goes, "No," and he goes, "Well, I'll fight it either." Yeah,
I'll go to Carver and I'll either accept what I have to say or he'll take my resignation.
Yeah, and she kind of goes, "Oh, all right, well, fuck it, okay."
I'm holding you responsible.
Yeah, which to be.
And you know what? But here's another. This is just lazy writing. The fact nobody noticed this, right? So they're all going to bed that night. And Nancy turns around and goes, "Do you think we'll be able to get the hypnosil by tomorrow?" Yeah. And not by this afternoon. Do you know what I mean?
Fucking, you'd wonder, yeah. And I think before that, don't we get into, she notices that Patricia Arquette can take her into, this is what I mean, we haven't even mentioned Patricia Arquette for God knows how long, and she's, because
Patricia
in some ways, the main character.
Has fallen asleep, or she might have been sedated, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And you hear, she's screaming for Nancy.
Yeah.
Nancy, and then she pulls her into the dream. Again, a stupid looking thing where she falls back into the chair and she disappears. Now it turns out that that's actually just part of the dream, but I don't know if that's needed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
she could have just been there, like, do you know what I mean?
There,
and again, we spoke about the special effects. This kind of fucking snake version of Freddy has done the real good effect because the way it travels cool, around the room, like
it is cool. Apparently, that was quite dangerous because like it was literally like
a moving
she was being spit up and like some of it's reversed and all this. Like it's cool. Like I don't know how scary it is, but it's very cool.
Yeah, see, because I mean, we'll probably get into it towards the end, but I wouldn't. This wouldn't be one of the scarier ones, like, do you know what I mean?
No, it's imaginative and it's fun. There is actually, I wanted to bring it up because it just goes, Heather Lange. So she has like a sit down interview, like where she's talking with Patricia Arquette's mother. And her mother makes some jive about, she hasn't been the same since I cut off her credit cards. And Langenkamp goes like, I'm serious. And she says it's like, come on, you fucking give it a bit more. She is just, she may have, I didn't get a chance to rewatch the other one that the postmodern one that they did in the 90s.
Oh yeah. New Nightmare.
So I don't know, maybe she'd improved kind of by then, but she was not very good in this.
But she's playing herself, you know that's the whole
message. She's playing herself. Yeah. I did rewatch that a few years ago and it was not as good as I remember, because there's a kid character in it and the actor's fairly horrible as I recall. I think it's better than I remembering it, but I remember not being as impressed with it as the first time I saw it. First time I saw it scared the shit out of me, actually. So maybe she improved, but she is not very good in it. She was very young and playing like she was miscast playing like a more mature character.
Yeah.
But
because I don't remember that being this bad in the first one. Like, and I think bad is a strong word. I think it's miscast rather than. Yeah, I'm not slating her as an actor. Like, do you know what I mean?
But she was playing a teenager in the first one, and they put like a bit of grey in her hair or something.
I believe that happens in the first one.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Yeah. Something happens, and then she wakes back up. It's when they realise that dreams can affect your walking around. Something happens in one of the dreams, and she wakes up and she has grey hair.
Yeah, she wakes up in this from the dream with Patricia Arquette, and she has a cut in her hand, doesn't she?
Because she picks up the glass and stabs the snake Freddy. Yeah, and there is like the acknowledgement of you. Like, yes, she's the one that got away, and he can't get to her again because she's on hypnocil.
Yeah, doesn't this is where it's revealed. We mentioned it, but like Patricia Arquette can pull people into her dreams, which comes out of nowhere, but it's good for later on, I suppose. Like, it is kind of a cool idea that you, as Inception, kind of fucking riffed on years later.
Because you look at this stuff about, like, there's all these kind of weird things about dreams, like, do you know what I mean? And I mean, people tell you that, like, we still don't fully understand what they're there for. Like, I mean, there's theories about, well, it's helping your memory, or it's helping you deal with emotional stress in your waking life and stuff like this. Like, it's like, I used to have really bad anxiety, and like literally every night I'd dream about my teeth falling out, and I'd wake up.
Oh, that's like a classic one.
Yeah. And I'd wake up and I'd be afraid to check because the dream would have been so real that I was like, I have no teeth now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. And I'd be afraid to check. Yeah. But there's all that type of stuff about group dreaming, and like, this is all like, they didn't pull all this shit out of their arse, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's a strong idea, and like the idea would be really cool to be able to team up in your dreams, which is why it's a bit of a disappointment for me that they didn't really do as much with it as I would have hoped. So we spin on from that. She realizes that, and then I think soon after that, do we have their first attempt at the group, like all teaming up in the dream thing?
Yeah. So they've.
I don't think we're missing anything much.
I don't think so.
So we go into that, and this is obviously off the books, and like what they say it every time, that this is straight talk in this room. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. And she convinces the guy off screen about what's going on, and he's just like, all right, all right,
let's see.
It's a movie dealing with the supernatural. You have to, characters who don't see things just have to accept things.
So they appear to have failed in their attempt to group dream.
Yeah, he kind of tries to hypnotize, and there is a. I did notice this now when I rewatched it. She goes, Patricia was like, but I don't know how I do it. I don't know if I could do it, and because I used to do it with my dad or something like that. And Heather Langenham goes, you have an ability, and you don't just lose things like that. And I'm like, how the fuck would you? Like, you're dealing with something here that no one knows anything about.
I know.
And she's so confident about it.
You didn't know this existed until 10 minutes ago.
And now you're a fucking expert on it. And look, she doesn't even say believe in yourself. She just says, no, you don't understand. You don't lose it. Like, But look, fair enough. So they start doing it, and
it
they think it
that
hasn't
they failed.
worked.
Yeah. And then Joey gets seduced by good-looking
now
80s nurse.
Yeah, I said earlier about not being confused about Anton as relates to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 and the gay subtext. However, I don't know that nurse necessarily is Freddy Krueger when she's naked, because that would be confusing for me.
Yeah.
That is. I think the idea is creepier than the execution, but it isn't fair. Like, so the kid is, the nurse is like, oh, I know you won't say anything.
But I always assume, like, see, the first time I saw this film was that scene. And do you like my body, Joey? And me as a 13-year-old just sat down silently, hoping that me ma or dad didn't walk into the room.
Your one is like a Playboy model build.
Oh, unbelievable.
Fantastic.
But I always imagine that, and I don't know if it's just me being kind to myself. But I'm like, that's not Freddy. That's an avatar of that woman. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what you want to believe. Yeah. Well, they never do the thing. I think
he never turns into her.
I want to say I've seen, but I might be mixing up with something like her wearing the head or something like that. Like there might, but it's not in the finished film.
No.
I think it might be in the behind the scenes documentary or something like that.
We realise quickly that not all is well, and she spits out tongues.
Yeah, the thing with so she kisses him and her tongue turns massively long and horrible, and then she's able to spit, which is very good and imaginative. You know?
And it's, again, practical effects, looks really cool.
Yeah.
The only problem I have is that I didn't need the 4 shots of her spinning her head around.
Yeah.
Do it once, and then maybe a second time, and then you just see the tongues tying them up. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't need all that.
It was a little much, and then she leaves him suspended, like tied, kind of spread eagle above like a fiery pit. I said he. I want to say that they did have her wearing the head, and it was more explicitly that that's Freddy Krueger. But I think they cut it out because teenage boys would be like, "Oh, that's confusing. Why am I gay?" So make it out what you will. I did laugh out loud. I know this is where they kind of introduced us. So Kincaid is strong. The wizard boy master can walk.
Even the way he delivers his line.
She's beautiful and bad.
Yeah, but the way because that's the famous one. That's like. Poor young one having to say that, like
but just a fucking when the guy mohawk.
When the guy stands up and the fella in the wheelchair goes, "In my dreams, my legs are strong."
Yeah,
and I am the wizard master.
Yeah.
And he because obviously I don't know what they call.
You've seen him play Dungeons and Dragons, but they can't say it. It's
called the balls. And
the dice.
No. Do you know it's the thing that where you realise that they're in the dream.
Oh yeah, the kind of what do they call them? They're the things like they're the metal balls suspended on. Yeah,
so the middle ones
wires.
don't move, but the end ones do.
And they float all over.
So he grabs one and turns it into a butterfly, and then obviously Mammy Langenkamp turns around and she's like has this real proud moment, and then she says the stupid line to Kristen, who's the Patricia Arquette character, goes, "What can you do in your dream?"
Oh Jesus!
Like very QVC ads,
and she's a gymnast or something. Like that. I actually like the idea that they have powers, but like the assumption that because I don't have any special. The only dreams I have is I'm back in school and I have to do the leaving cert in 5 months, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I remember dreams that I could fly and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But they were never big parts.
Yeah, it's not something that really bothers me. Like, and it's kind of something that works for the premise.
The problem here is, which we're kind of moving along quickly, and we'll circle back. But what's happening here is only really Kincaid and Kristen get any use out of their powers.
Yes,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and even Kincaid, it's not made much of. Yeah,
because obviously what happens is they realise Joey. They wake up.
Yeah.
And Joey's...
I did laugh at when they're woken up because the nurse character walks in and they're all like, it just looks so shady. Like they're all passed out and your man, the guy in the wheelchair. No, the guy who can't talk is like completely fucking conked out on the floor. Like, and she's like, yeah, of course you get fired over this.
Yeah.
They do get fired over it, although they're allowed to come back. Yeah, which is fair enough. Like it was very dangerous.
No, Craig Watson never returns.
He doesn't know. Langenkamp kind of goes back, but she kind of goes back as a visitor, I suppose. Yeah.
So what happens here now is Joey is...
He's being held kind of prisoner.
Hang on, I think we've missed one of the biggest set piece kills. Has the TV not happened?
Fuck yeah, we just completely missed that. Yeah,
see, this is what happens when you're freewheeling it.
Yeah, well, in our defense, it doesn't really advance the plot at all.
But it is cool.
Yeah,
because it is right. So what happens is the guy has died from getting the puppeteer. The puppet has died, and one of the girls who has an issue burning herself with cigarettes to stay awake. Is found watching TV. And then there's this kind of back and forth with Horde and Larry Fishburne. And he's kind of a bit of antagonistic here. Like, it's like a bit, leave it out. Like,
like, what the fuck are you up to? Oh, I forgot you want to be in movies. Which is the only way it's ever said. And that's why the payoff isn't quite as good for me. Sorry, go on,
And she turns around and has a real emotional moment of, I can't have the dream. Not tonight, not after. And he kind of goes, all right, I'll leave you. But if you're caught, I didn't see you and all this. And... So then it's the Dick Cavett show.
Yeah, they got the real guy in...
And Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Yeah.
But in the opening credits of the film, they're credited, which I've always find strange.
Well, they actually did show up and do it specifically for the film.
I know, I understand that, but it's just, it seems like something that...
Yeah, the story is, it's kind of a weird story. So just so anyone knows, he was a very famous talk show host in the US. And the story was, apparently they said, will you do it? And he said, yeah. And he said, the guest should be Zsa Zsa Gabor because she's the stupidest person I've ever met. And if anyone was going to be killed, it'd be her. That's apparently what he said. So yeah, she's watching them on TV. And then he says something like, oh, you're a fucking bitch or whatever.
No,
and he turns
he
into
says,
Freddy
no,
Krueger.
because the line is much better than that.
Yeah.
He goes... Because they're talking about, do you think, Dick Cavett asks, do you think people should do acting classes? Do you think they should study?
Yeah.
And then Zsa Zsa goes, yes, you should study. And then it switches back and it's Freddy. He goes, who gives a fuck what you think?
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
and then he stabs her. And it's the teddy cuts off. Now, this gets a bit annoying as well because obviously the kids are well oiled on who Freddy is. And she's clearly seeing Freddy on the screen.
Yeah, but she walks over.
She walks over to it. And there's, again, some great practical effects here. The way the arms come out and the Freddy comes up through the
that
telly.
is very cool, the way they vacuum form it on his face. And
he picks her up and he goes, this is your big time, or this is your big break.
In TV,
This is your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Yeah.
And he shoves her
head into the,
And then obviously Larry Fishburne comes running into the room and there is no way in hell that woman got up there and put her head in there.
That was apparently an ad-lib by Robert Englund, because they show the script in that documentary I was talking about, and I think it's just the original line, or it's not Welcome to Primetime, bitch, is way better. Yeah. When Larry Fishburne runs in, it reminds me of, do you ever see that spoof movie Loaded Weapon?
Yeah.
And they walk in and there's like a massacre, like 15 people, and Sam Jackson goes, I don't know, this might look like a suicide, but when Larry Fishburne walks in and you was hanging from the TV, I was like, this may look like a suicide, but I'm not convinced.
Because there's no,
there's no plausible
they could have put a
way
fucking table there or something just to make it seem like, because even to get the amount of power that you'd need to generate.
Well, even if because they kind of do this in some of them, which is if the kids saw that and then the adults were still like, no, it was a suicide, and the kids were just like, come on, we're not fucking idiots here, come on, help us out here. They don't play that up at all. They just kind of accept it like she's dead now, basically.
Now, have you, up until this point, right? Because obviously now we skip back ahead to where Joey's in a coma and they've gotten fired.
I think, there's a moment I think we have to circle back around to again, but I'll let you go on, yeah.
Do you find, because I mean, I know, like we spoke about Terrifier and how Art the Clown is the main star. Now, obviously, in a Freddy film or a Michael Myers film, that's not really the case. But I always found that he was more of a real supporting character rather than a co-star in this particular one.
Yeah.
Because he just seems to pop up in situations.
He does, he just pops up,
It's not like kind of a spectre. Kind of feeling of something's always.
That's a very good point. Yeah, the way you said it is perfect. He pops up as opposed to being someone who's always
there.
And I think that's kind of an overall directing kind of a thing. And as you say, like if Heather Langenkamp were playing it like she was haunted, at least then it's always kind of there, you know. Now, having said that, there's a very effective bit. So we we missed a bit where Craig wasn't, or actually maybe it's right after that.
It's after when he goes in
with the nun.
So that's as he's leaving, he's been fired.
That's right. Yeah. He's been fired. And that is a very good background to Freddy. It doesn't demystify him. It actually makes him more mysterious.
Yeah, and it doesn't make him sympathetic either because that's what you're at risk of doing when you're giving these people backstories. You can kind of go, oh, what, you want me to feel sorry for them?
Yeah, or like the fucking
Rob Zombie,
like Mike. His dad was this and that. And that's what they're all like.
Because franchises can do this because they run dry quickly. Some of them, like, do you know what I mean? Especially if they're not that deep. But if this wasn't so well done, I have a feeling this was Wes Craven's input to the screenplay.
Yeah, apparently his draft was very dark, and this is quite dark.
Yes, because it's amazing. Like, he is the bastard son of 100 maniacs.
Yeah,
what a line.
That is great. Yeah. It speaks to like there's a reality to it, but it's mythic at the same time.
And at the same time, at this stage, you kind of get the feeling Sister Mary Helen is she's a bit off. There's something up with her.
Yeah.
But you don't. Obviously, we won't. But
yeah, her performance is very good, and some of it's good. The only bit I could do without is when she kind of they literally do a moment. It's like, who are you talking to? Oh, I was talking to.
Yeah,
she's it's like, my God, I could have done without that.
That's at the girl's funeral who.
Yeah, it does actually, and funny enough, just to it reminds me of they spoofed it once in The Simpsons where it goes, Homer, where'd you buy that monkey spot? I bought it over. Oh no, wait, he's over there. And The Simpsons did a really great spoof of Nightmare on Elm Street, the groundskeeper Willie thing.
Oh yeah.
That was really, I'll get them where you can protect them. Oh, do not touch Willie. Good advice. Fucking brilliant. But yeah, that's really good.
And the way she delivers the story.
Yeah, she is very good.
It's so chilling because it's like because obviously they give you the backstory of where she is. So she's in an abandoned part of the hospital.
Yeah.
And
back in the 40s.
This goes on in the 40s, some sort of scandal. So it's expository, but it's not to the point where you're like, oh my God, because they are
very moody and
they're giving you new information rather than trying to rehash something.
Yeah, and it's an old scary story.
Yeah, and it's like she got locked in here and she was raped hundreds of times when they found that she was barely alive. And you're just like, okay. And then she delivers that line. He's the bastard son of 100 maniacs. Yeah. And I'm like, when I hear that line, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's chill. Yeah, that's very, very good. Yeah, no, that's the kind of shit that, with all due respect, which is very little to his filmmaking skills, Rob Zombie, that's where you want your movie villains to come from, not from. Well, this is exactly how Jeffrey Dahmer was brought up. I'm like, I can fucking watch a documentary on that cunt. Like, I want to watch something where it's like, oh my God.
I don't want you to humanize these people.
Yeah. That's not, if you track that onto real life and you don't humanize people, but it's like, it's a fucking mythical, it's a guy in your dreams, like it should be fucking fantastic.
And then she does also have a nice line, because previously she goes, what's your fate? To Craig Watson, he goes, I don't know, science. And she goes, poor choice or something, she says. But then at the end of this scene, she goes, if science is your only fate, maybe it is you who'll be buried or something like that. Because she explains to him that the body needs to be buried on hallowed ground.
Yeah. Which is a turn into they don't make much of it. Like it's just a turn into Christian territory. But that's kind of the predominant kind of spirituality.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, one thing you're dealing with when you're with horror films and slashers, if there's pure evil, that has to be its opposite.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So without beating it over the head with us.
Yeah, they do address that in From Dusk Till Dawn, I think it is, because George Clooney's like, they're demons straight from hell, and if there's a hell, there has to be a heaven. And you're like, well, yeah, for a movie, fine. Yeah, very good. Yeah. No, so it doesn't bother. Like when you watch Chinese or from Hong Kong, because China doesn't really do supernatural stuff, they do it with their religion. So like, set in the North America, it's going to be fucking Christianity. They have the cross and all this. Fine. No problem there. So we're getting into the final act. Yeah, now, I like John Saxon.
He's fucking,
hairpiece.
again.
He's quite good. He's not given much to do.
He's very good in the first one.
Yeah, he's given a kind of a cliche, and he's in like fucking basically 2 scenes or something.
Yeah, because he's there because they have to find where Freddy's buried, and he's one of the original.
Yeah, he was there when they killed. So that's again just great. Like the parents are like, where they're so outraged, they went in and they murdered him, and this kind of gave him this, like the hate from real life spilled into the supernatural. I really like that stuff. That's very appropriate.
But he's because he arrives and it's kind of, I haven't spoken to him in years type stuff, and is it actually before this he goes in and robs the crucifix?
I think that's on the way. It's on the way. Yeah.
So obviously there's a kind of, it's not done enough, but like, because it's mentioned in a line that I haven't seen him in years. Yeah,
I wish because it just seems to me like set up this kind of dive bar and then they walk past all the patrons and just sit down at this thing, and I'm like, they're not making anything of it. They don't really feed into because the mood of a lost man.
And it's kind of trying to play that, because he gets up and he's clearly inebriated and he's like, oh my God, my princess has come to see me.
The film isn't too much of a rush, I think, or it's not where Chuck Russell was putting his energies, and I think it needed to do, like if they gave this scene like an extra minute and they played it out with him being a little more of like destroyed and like kind of left behind by the world, I think it'd make it a lot better, and they just don't kind of do it, even though it's nice to see him, because I was
it was a nice showback, because it's like the old band getting back together, like because I know you're not as big a horror fan, but when it's done right, and then old characters come back,
well, it would have been appropriate really cool to have him in.
Because so it's not how else were they going to find the body? Like,
it's not just fan service. Like,
but there is a line here that happens just before this, when Nancy is explaining her mother died in her sleep, and because you see that at the end of the first one where they're dreaming,
yes,
and she gets pulled in the door, the worst fucking mannequin ever. But,
although the first time I saw it, that freaked the fuck out of me.
Because you're like,
never ends. You can't escape. And
but I thought that was a nice line because they don't overly explain it. It's just, she died in her sleep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And he's been kind of destroyed by it. Yeah. Now they go. So then they're kind of like, they get a phone call. Give up. Yeah. I do like when Craig Watson starts talking to me. He goes, "I don't believe I know you, friend." And he's just like, "Who the fuck are you to talk to me?" Yeah. That was kind of nice.
Because then obviously they go and ring, or they get a page or something, and they have to ring the hospital.
Page. Yeah.
And the kids explain that they've. Drugged,
yeah, Patricia Arquette's going to be sedated and she's going to fall asleep any minute.
Yeah.
It's a ticking clock here.
So Nancy then leaves.
Yeah.
And gets to the hospital.
Yeah, there's a really weird moment where I think it's just kind of badly directed, I think, where it tracks with Craig Wasson like the whole way across the bar and it's just like dead air. And then he like flips the table up and he's like, "Look, buddy, if you don't care about your daughter, well, I do." And I'm like, "Do you? Really?" I'm not really feeling it.
If we're going in real time, you met her about 36 hours ago.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, like, I looked it up. He's like 10 years older than her, but he looks about 20 years older than her. And I am like, look, she's very good looking and everything, but like, what's the connection here? I'm not really seeing it because it's supposed to be deeper than that. You know what I mean? So we're kind of, and it's a nice setup. I just don't think they pay it off well. He's gone off on his mission, the physical mission to find the body and bury it in hallowed ground. And she's got to go off to help the Dream Warriors, basically. And she has to beg Lawrence Fishburne to let her in. And then she's like, she seems to have all the time in the world.
No, yeah, because it's like, I'm not letting you in to see Kristen.
Yeah.
Like, it's not happening. Oh, well, can I at least say goodbye to the rest of the children? But he said, and he goes, "All right."
He says like you've got 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, but after this, he says that after the line, "I wouldn't let you near my kids if I fucking."
That's
and then
right,
he just goes,
"Oh
yeah, go on, you can say goodbye."
Go on, yeah, fire enough. Fire away, love.
But you know what I mean? I get it. It has to happen that way, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so...
And then they have a real quick, let's hypnotize each other quick.
Yeah. It's all like fine.
This is really good. The thing that I really liked here, because it's really smart storytelling, I think. Because obviously, them all together. Now, they don't really flesh it out enough. But so they're all together in the quiet room then. And they're like, "What are we going to do?" So then the walls start getting slashed.
Yeah.
And then they get, because obviously, that the feeling you get is that they're too strong together. So they have to be separated. So that's what Freddy's doing, is he separates them all. Do you know what I mean? Because it's easier to take out, but it's not really fleshed out enough. Do you know what I mean? I think that's more me projecting.
And then it's like I was doing the mathematics of it, and like if you want to rate the mission on success, I think over half of the kids die
within 2 seconds. Because the next scene is Taryn.
Yeah,
in the alleyway.
Yeah, and
oh no, sorry, it's not. It's we see Patricia Arquette in the house.
Yes, yeah. So she's kind of freaked out first, but then it's Taryn, the character's name, is it? The drug addict.
Yeah.
They don't like. What is she like? My dreams. I'm beautiful and bad. And I'm like, but what does that mean? Like, she has the mohawk.
She's a rocker. She's a cool chick.
And she has 2 switchblades.
In 1987, probably a lesbian.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Which that would have been a subplot. Where anyway, but like, it's actually a nice idea that Freddy gets her with the drugs, even though they don't really flesh out that she's addicted enough. I thought, but
well, I don't know, because there is that scene with the sleazy guy.
Yeah,
and it's like, I got the keys to Club Med and all this. Like,
yeah, and she's trying to, like, there is a bit of that there, but
there's one of these really awkward "fuck off," like one of these like delivered lines. Like,
so he gets her with this. Is what I mean. Like, it is a little unclear.
I did enjoy the fact that, like, she's walking down this alley, and then it cuts back to her, and then the hallway she was in is gone.
Yeah,
that's really well done.
Stuff like that
very well. And then you see obviously the movement of the homeless guy, and you're like, and there is a genuine, when watching it, where I'm like,
must be Freddy.
I'm waiting, and I am anxious. I am tense, like, so. And it just happens to be some guy walking by.
Yeah. That's not. So again, just to go into, I know this is where the film lives, but like the reality or whatever of it. So Freddy can manipulate her body so that there's like little mouths on her arms from the track marks. And I'm like, but then what can't he do, or what can he do, or whatever? It does seem, but then again, like, it's such a cool image.
But it is cool because
whatever.
Obviously they get into a fight because she does the whole knife thing.
That is very lame, that fight now. It's just like, like, all right,
Freddy swings at her, and then he gets stabbed in the side.
Yeah.
And then but I do like his talking here. we're old friends, you and me. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
That's all good. Yeah, and I like the way it's the needles together.
And
yeah.
he's like this, the way he pulls it up, the way he pulls up his hands for the reveal.
Yeah, and that just seems to freak her out.
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
how he gets it. Now, apparently, originally, like, her head exploded. They had a prosthetic effect, and I can't remember, was it just didn't look as good. Because it does just end with him sticking the things in her arms, and you never see her again.
Yeah.
I think her head blew up or something. I can't remember if it didn't work out.
Because it does
as
look
well.
that way, because you can see the starts of special effects where the veins start getting bulging from her head.
I want
and
to
stuff.
say it was the effect just wasn't quite good enough or something like that. I think it wasn't working well, but like it does kind of rob her death of a bit of fucking impact.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because she's in terms of the film, I think it could have been done a lot better, but she is memorable.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a shame she didn't get a great send off.
And then we move on to the Wizard Master.
Yeah, I remember seeing this just
Bit of
on
a
TV
pointless-
when I was younger and feeling like this kind of lame, because he even has the fucking "I am the wizard." He has that. He still has that voice in the fucking documentary, and he's like a 50-year-old man. He's like, they all really fancy Patricia Arquette, quite understandably, and he's like, "Oh, we all really fancied her." I'm like, "Oh, dude."
well, I can tell you never had a chance. But,
Larry Fishburne, maybe.
So what happens here is obviously Freddy appears at the top of the laneway or the hallway, whichever they're in, and there's this kind of Freddy
wheelchair, isn't
death
it?
race or something
Type
of wheelchair.
Yeah,
It's
which
all
is
blades
very cool.
and-
Yeah. Apparently it was very, very big, so it's hard to get it down that hallway. It is cool.
So it
though,
does. It chases him down. He gets his leg slashed.
He
and then
literally does cheesy 80s like lightning effects from his hands and all this.
And like so he bangs. The thing is coming back down. And the thing is about this is I think Robert Englund is probably, because obviously Michael Myers and Jason are devoid of any kind of. They don't get to act. Do you know what I mean? Per se. But I always do like the fact that Robert Englund he'll make them see him like they've gotten one over on him, and then he'll just smile.
Yeah, he's genuinely like there's personality and a sadism there. Yeah, we did actually miss one bit because it's kind of a classic line of his. So Heather Langenkamp is looking at the kid in the coma, and he scratches on his chest, on the kid's chest.
Come and get him, bitch.
Yeah. Now, to critique the film on a very fine grammar point, I think it would have been really funny and sadistic if he'd have put, you're actually supposed to put a comma before the bitch. I thought it would have been really funny if
he had wrote that
and then afterwards the comma. But it would have been funny, but it would have been like, it would have spoken to his character. Like, I'm actually going to torment this guy just a little bit more. So guys, if you can CG that back in, or in the remake maybe maybe do that. But yeah, he does. Didn't he start saying that a lot, like
bitch?
Yeah, well, welcome to primetime, bitch. I think I could be wrong now, but that seemed to start off him kind of capping things off with bitch. And it does kind of speak to the character, because his background is like as a sex pervert. You know, he's obvious. He wouldn't strike me as someone who has a healthy opinion of women.
He's very likely a misogynist,
quite possible,
although through the prism of bro culture in 2025, he may be the victim.
There could be, there could be meat on the bone of that. Yeah. Maybe he was on a few too many forums or something. Jeez, can you imagine the fucking remake where he's an incel addicted to fucking Discord servers?
Fucking 4chan and what have you.
Jesus Christ, and the pearl clutching purple hair warriors come in to fucking kill him. That would be the pro Freddy Krueger version we're making there.
So then obviously after the...
I will say the way he kills the wizard kid is kind of disappointing, because he just kind of stabs him in the chest with the glove. You would have hoped for a little more, but
yeah, but like it's just. But here's the point where it goes. Okay, so the powers are pointless. Yeah,
like the kid, that kid should be their chance, like because he's like
the wizard.
Yeah, the wizard, like he's supernatural powers, and he's. Although you could say maybe they might say no, we're setting it up so it's scarier because no one has a chance.
Because they do kind of lean on that now in the next scene. So what happens is we cut back to Patricia Arquette's character Kristen, and then Nancy finds her. So Big Joyce, and then they hear banging on the wall, and it's Kincaid with his strength coming through the wall.
Yeah.
And it's very, very, I do find it very funny. Yo, Freddy, pussy! Come on, you burnt motherfucker! I love all that. I love all that. And he's like, I knew he was a pussy, and then the door appears.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. The door that leads.
But it doesn't go anywhere.
Is that to the Hall of Mirrors, though, or is
no? That goes down into the basement to where Joey is. Do you remember?
Yes.
And then they have to. So they're walking down. Then, or Nancy rushes down because he's letting her go, letting Joey go into the fire. And again, it speaks to why not just let them four of them go together? Why are you giving them an opportunity to come down? Like?
Yeah, well, I suppose. And so they're fighting him down there, and then at a certain point he disappears because not Bill Maher and John Saxon.
Yeah, so but what's happened here is Nancy comes down and it kind of gives you not a backstory, but a reasoning for why he's so strong. Because she goes, Nancy goes, he's never been this strong.
Yeah.
After she stabs him and he licks the thing and he put the souls of the children.
Yeah, which again is great. That's
and he pulls
mythical.
Off, and then, and then the chest effects and all are fucking brilliant.
Great,
like,
really creepy good, idea. That's what gives him his power. Yeah, that's good stuff. But then he has to disappear
because they found the.
Yeah, now I will say I found it very, very strange that they put his bones in the back of like a car, a car boot instead of burying him. But whatever. So they're there and they're like, right, we have to bury it. And then they make the very unfortunate, I think, decision. Although you can't make it too easy on those guys to have a stop motion Freddy Krueger skeleton attack them. And it's kind of lame, and it's a real.
Do you know what pisses me off about it? Yeah. It's because Freddy famously wears a glove.
Yeah.
And he has the blades on his bones.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off something vicious.
That's a real specific thing. Yeah.
Because that's not what it is. Like he's wearing a glove.
Like. Yeah, fair play.
You could have had that he was buried with the glove. Like, just don't put it on his fingers. Like,
my main problem is how anticlimactic it is that he kills John Saxon, like this major character in that scene. It's really lame. But then
he kills him almost immediately because he just picks him up and flings him.
It's very like kind of rushed, and then he knocks Craig Wasson out, kind of half buries him. And then the skeleton goes like, and he just turns into dust.
But it just, the thing that annoys me with that is it sounds like dinosaurs or something.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah. Well, it just makes no sense because I'm like, why wouldn't he just finish him off? Like, he has him at his mercy, and he doesn't finish him off, so your man can come back and save the day.
I always this will speak to me autism, right? When he's burying Craig Wasson's character. There's a lump of muck that sticks to his chin.
Oh, right.
And when I tell you that fucking annoys, that drives me mad. It's like an OCD thing. I don't know why.
Be annoying, I suppose.
I just get so annoyed at it. But also, if you're talking about physical performance, the fact that he's actually getting muck thrown on his face and there's not, like, I know.
He doesn't even,
there's not a flinch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And like, to be fair, like, there's only one really giant, I think it's a bit much for like what's supposed to be trying to be a scary movie or a fight. The motion on Krueger is very smooth and everything. There's only one really janky bit where he's supposed to be picking up John Saxon and his hand just seems to be vaguely in where his dick is, except to be like it's gone through him or something. That's just the special effects not being aligned. But like overall, those effects are not that bad. Like, it's not laughably bad.
At the end of the day, I think this is probably, I know it's stop motion, but see, I don't know. I still give A for effort in terms of the.
Yeah, well, even earlier when he was the puppet, like because originally they were going to do Jurassic Park with stop motion, and when you see this and how smooth it is, you go, I guess that kind of could have worked if they had augmented it a bit.
Especially 6, 7, 8 years later, and the money that Spielberg would have had to make that.
Like it wouldn't have been quite as laughable as probably now they went the right route with it, I think. But it was interesting to see like how good it was for not a very big budget film, just how good the techniques were.
So we cut back, and then we're back in the dream world, and they entered this hall of mirrors. Yeah, and they've got Joey.
Freddy can multiply himself in the hall of mirrors.
Well, he has a line here now. It's not one of his more memorable ones, hence why I can't remember it. But maybe if there was more of me to go around or something.
Yeah, sorry to keep you waiting. Maybe if there was something
more of me
to
go around. Not one of the strongest lines in it.
No. But it introduces the idea.
So then he appears on all different types of mirrors. Now Joey sits down into the corner, afraid, obviously, and then everybody's getting pulled through the mirrors, which I have to say I really like.
That's a good effect, actually. It's really and good. It is a creepy idea.
Yeah, because like where are they going? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, with the campiness and all of Freddy, you can kind of forget the horrific. Imagine if you were going through that. Like,
yeah.
You forget how scary it actually would be. So then obviously Joey finds his dream power and screams.
Just screaming loudly and smashing mirrors,
And again, this is great. I don't know... you might know, I don't know how they do this because obviously the things smash and they fall out of the wall. I don't know how they shot that. Maybe they had a curtain and they just...
Yeah, I think because if my memory is it's in one shot and they all come out at the same time, unless they just synchronized the jumping and saw stunt people or something. I'd have to go back and watch. But
obviously,
I know,
it all seems... This always annoyed me, and I noticed this on Force Viewing years ago, was, he's gone. And I was like, no, he's not.
It's so obvious he's
no,
not.
he's
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Now, but I did not expect this when John Saxon appears in the dream.
Yeah, the only thing I could have done without is he like the effect to bring him in and make him appear as like stars. I was like, oh,
And he's
Lord.
coming from high in.
Yeah. It's like, I've
And he's
crossed
like,
over, Nancy.
I couldn't go without letting you know I'm so sorry for all the things I've done.
And she is not particularly good in the scene either. This is
No.
what I mean. Like, I can't just say it's that she's miscast. Like, any actor should be able to handle
And
that
I don't know
moment,
why they
you know?
go to the effort of separating Kristen from the other two guys, because the door closes and it's only Kristen and Heather.
Yeah,
And Nancy
she
in
is
the room.
she's meant to be like a major character or something.
This is a real issue I have though as well with the editing, right? So what happens is it's obviously he stabs Nancy because it's Freddy pretending to be her father. Now there's a part where it cuts to the hand and it's Freddy's actual hand and it's jumper, and then it cuts back up and it's still John Saxon. And that annoys me because then it cuts away again and it cuts back and it's Freddy.
Yeah.
So that's an editing mistake and I can't forgive it.
You're not into that, no. Well, this was on that documentary. I think it was Chuck Russell said like the fact that we kill her off is like it's meant to be like anything can happen in this franchise, and he kind of credited that. I have to say I have seen this film a few times in the past. I rewatched it for this, and then I watched that documentary. And when he said that, I was like, she died at the end. It just genuinely didn't make that much of an impact on me. And that's not on me. That is on the film. There is actually quite,
because Patricia Arquette goes to shows her acting chops here, to be fair. Because she does have
a nice... She is very good in the limited,
because I'm going to dream you into a beautiful dream. And it's like, it's really well played. And you really go, oh my God, the poor thing.
Yeah, no, she's a legit, I mean? She's a really good actress.
Yeah.
Like, and reason she has
that's why I'm always questioning why they separate them, because what happens is obviously here is Craig Watson awakens and he starts burying him and he sprays him with holy water, and then in the dream you see
yes
there's and again some cool effects because that light coming out of him, and then when he places the crucifix on his head and
there's the shape of the crucifix,
like that's all good stuff, and then he just kind of disappears, but then the door just opens and Kincaid and Joey come back in, and I'm like, why did you go to so much effort to separate them?
Yeah, do you
know what I mean?
Was it just that they played the moment? Because I think Patricia Arquette's character is meant to be more significant, than it kind of comes off. Like, she's a great actress and she's memorable in it, but when you watch the film, you're like...
I do always like the fact that Heather Langenkamp only closes her eyes after Freddy's been defeated. So at least our last thought was like, oh, at least we got you, prick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or did they?
And then, well, like, could we do the mathematics on that? So how many of them were asleep? And then I think they lost half of the team, didn't they? Like,
all right, what would that look like when they went to the hospital?
Yeah, they wake up with like everyone's fucking dead. And no, I think it was only because Joey is okay, the kid who couldn't speak. So they did rescue him. Patricia Arquette's alive. Kincaid is alive. But yeah, 3 of the other lines, so they lost it. 6 of them went in, and half of them came out. But like, look, it is a horror movie.
I never actually thought that.
Well, like, if no one dies, it's
when Larry Fishburne comes in, and then
what the fuck?
Oh my God, because that's the second time he's had to do that.
I know, he's gonna get fucking locked up for that shit. Like, Jesus Christ, criminal negligence.
So here we see Nancy's funeral.
Yes,
and
I want to say, is there someone in the crowd of the audience? I kind of half remember. There's someone. Like, there's a cameo of people in the audience from like the first film or something. Like someone who's an Uber fan.
I'd never noticed that. But I do think it's way too long on what your man said, the eulogy, I'd say. I don't like, for you have been my refuge and you will be my refuge. And just the way he says refuge, I don't like it. Like,
and then we get Craig Watson
sees his sister Mary Helen.
Walks over and she was a ghost all along. And
she's the ghost of Amanda Krueger.
Yeah. So he walks over to her, guys, like, it's to himself. It was you. You are his. He says something that on the nose. You're like, oh fuck me.
And then like, obviously that's like, because I mean that works for me. I don't like the line that he gives.
Yeah, no, that is okay. Like,
but
that's, for the film, it is. Yeah,
for the franchise, for franchises to be retconning stuff and all that type of stuff, it can fail miserably quite often, and more often than not, it does fail.
Yeah,
this I think it works.
No, it just deepens the mythology as opposed to like kind of putting something on it that doesn't belong. Exactly, or like just doing something for convenience.
To close out the film, Craig Watson is getting a good night's sleep, and he's brought home Nancy's Malaysian dream warrior thing.
Oh yeah,
to herald good dreams.
And as we know, the franchise ended there on a happy note. Yeah.
And then so the house. He also has Kristen's house that she's been painting throughout the film.
Oh yeah.
And the light turns on, which for what it is pretty cool. I like it.
That's all right. Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, you have to end it on something like that, and that's kind of a nice little. What was number 4? What happens in number 4? Which is the Rennie Harlan one?
Oh, I don't know. I think
5,
Dream Master is 4, I think.
Okay.
See, short of the first and third one, I've seen I've seen New Nightmare, I think, twice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've seen. I think I've only seen them all single once.
Yeah.
I think I might sit there. See, the thing is, I don't know if I can give. There's something about it that makes me go, "Oh, there's a lot." It's like, do you ever come onto a season, season 9 or something, and it has 22 episodes a season, and you're like, "Oh, you know what? No."
No, I have seen all of them, but again, I don't know if I was explicit enough here. I'm not exactly what you call a horror fan. So like when I watch these and it's a bunch of people walking around waiting for a psycho to get them, that does not get me going. But like for what they are, I do like these. Out of the 3 big franchises I don't count Saw as a big franchise. Sorry guys. Halloween, Friday the 13th, and these are my favorites.
They're the quintessential slashers.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, I way prefer these. Yeah, there's way more interesting. For me, there's way more interesting stuff going on here.
So, if we were to pick a non-submersible unit from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
Well, obviously Freddy, but I think what separates it out is it's a nice balance of scary but also funny. Like. It hasn't gone into parody here.
No, it hasn't gone completely into parody, but it definitely leans to more the horror comedy. I wouldn't even specifically call it a horror comedy, but it's definitely the more campy.
Yeah, Welcome to Primetime Bitch is a funny line, but it's also still nasty. Yeah. Whereas later on, it be like where what's the one where he's like controlling someone with a fucking Nintendo joystick or something? Like, I mean, Jesus Christ.
But see, the thing is, based on what I said about how Freddy's dealt with by Chuck Russell in this film, I don't believe that he's the non-submersible unit for me. For me, it's Sister Mary Helena and that line. I will never forget that line.
That is,
the bastard son of 100 maniacs is just like,
Yeah, I think
myth-making, man.
I think the reason, like that guy I work with who said, the best one, I think it's the fact that the kids can fight back. Yeah. And I think that kind of latches into people's imaginations. But see, I don't think it's done well enough.
Yeah. Because it's kind of useless. Do you know what I mean? Now, I know Patricia Arquette at times uses her bleeding gymnastics to great effect by dodging them and kicking them. And
the fact they can all come together. But even that isn't a huge thing, isn't made out of it. Like, that would be way more, like, as much as I was giving a stick in Inception.
I did like the fact that they separated them all. Because obviously... But that's me kind of writing and saying, well, divide and conquer type stuff. Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, that is, at least it's there, and it's like the fact that they can all fight together is good. But I like in my memory there was way more stuff where they used their powers, and like you would, if I were to rewrite it, you'd be like, there's a scene at the start where they think they can do it, or like as a reflex, one of them uses a dream power. And then they're like, oh my God, we can do this. Builds up. And then the ending is they team up to fight him. And they don't do that. They don't give it enough kind of space. But I think that idea lives enough in people's memory that they kind of, as you say, kind of do the writing themselves. Yeah. And in your memory, you're like, oh yeah, that's the one where this happens. And then you watch it, like, that's not as much as I thought, actually.
Exactly. Because I did definitely see, watching it this time with a more kind of analytical eye, and like you go, they're not doing a lot here, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like, again, I would still, for me, the first one is the best.
I know it is, because the first one, and like I said, like, I mean, if for anybody, I would imagine nobody that are older listening to this, and if they haven't come to a Nightmare on Elm Street, you won't have the same reaction as like...
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd have to watch it at the right age, I would think. Yeah. And it is like a bit dated, like some of the effects and all this, but like as an idea and as a character, Freddy Krueger, he's still alive, Robert Englund. He must be 80 something.
He's up there, all right. Yeah. So if you were to give this film a rating... If I had to give it a whole number, I would give it a 3. But if I can give it I'd give it a 2.5 if I can. I wouldn't have a problem saying 3 though. I'm at 3.5.
Okay, fair enough. There we go. Yeah, like it's grand.
I think 0.5s are all right. We just won't get into the 0.8 and all this. Like,
I just there's a lot of stuff that could have been done a lot better. I think if they just handled the characters better, it could nearly be the same film, and I'd give it nearly a 4, or even maybe even higher.
Because it is like, as a third film in a franchise goes, it is probably one of the better ones. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair play.
Look what they did with Halloween 3. Like, do you know what I mean? They completely ran out of all ideas and just made a completely different film. Like,
even though I know people really, really like that, because
those people are stupid.
If you look at it on its own terms, I actually never really took to it either. No, for whatever reason.
And trying to go meta by having the Halloween film on in the bar while he's in there, not like, no.
Yeah,
no way. Just give me Michael Myers. That's why I have such an affinity for Halloween 4. Because it's the return of Michael Myers, like, because they realised they made a hames of it, like, do you know what I mean?
Well, they lost a lot of. I don't know if it actually did lose money, but it was seen as like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it's a Halloween film.
Well, the fuck up was, if they'd have released it as part 2, where it's like, okay, every year it'll just be a different movie with the name Halloween, but they did 2 movies with that character, and then like
about the same night.
Yeah, and then like, oh Jesus, that was a marketing blunder at the very least. You could say, yeah.
So I think that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you're enjoying the series of.
Yeah, any super fans, please sound off in the comments.
Let us know. Let us know.
We're missing the mark here.
Yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's a communal.
One would hope, yeah,
you'd hope so. We're building some form of community here.
Yeah, of course. And look, genuinely, guys, I get the fandom behind these. What have we missed? If you really think this is a 5 out of 5, and what is it that connects you to it?
100%.
I would, and I genuinely would like to know. Yeah,
and join us next week as well for another delve into the horror genre,
the spookier side of things.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know if we'll have as many props now, because we're out of props now.
We're not going to do Halloween or Friday the 13th.
I may bring in a kitchen knife, but that's a little hint.
Oh, well, who knows? Who knows what that could mean? Yeah.
All right, thanks very much, lads.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.